he would step across the line. Habitually. He's a habitual line stepper.
You make me happy. Thank y'all for joining us on the Habitual Line Steppers podcast. I am Garrett Charles Langley Henson.
And I am Terry Ricardo DeShazo the second. What's good, brothers? Friday is a beautiful day in the neighborhood, except for it's raining outside. No biggie. Shout out to Raleigh. Shout out to Charlotte. We're doing this early for you. Friday, October 20th. Let's do it.
The NBA is back, and so are we with our Eastern Conference preview. We're going to get right to it, guys. I'm going to give you my ranking of all the Eastern Conference teams. Terry is going to be here to react. On Tuesday, Terry is going to give you his ranking of the Western Conference teams, and I'm going to react. So be sure to stay tuned for that.
Let's do it.
With no further ado, Terry, let's start with the worst team in the Eastern Conference.
Oof.
Chocolate City's own.
Wow.
The Washington Wizards.
Mm-hmm.
Embrace the tank, DC. They got Travis Schlenk in as their GM, who loves to tank. He tanked for Luka Doncic, and then he decided to draft Trae Young instead. We tanked to get DeAndre Hunter, the most valuable player at UVA on the national championship team. Now, whether those guys turned out to be franchise changers remains to be seen. Well, probably not so much in the case of DeAndre Hunter. But the fact remains, Schlenk likes to have these high draft picks. They traded away their two best players this offseason in Porzingis and Bradley Beal. They brought in a rookie in Coulibaly that's 2 years away from being any good whatsoever, and replaced their other star with Jordan Poole, who's been a G League level player at times in his NBA career.
In the playoffs, for sure.
Yeah. They got the worst coach in the NBA in Wes Unseld Jr.
Damn.
And I'm not sure who's going to play defense on this entire team. Is it Jordan Poole? Is it Corey Kispert? Is it Kyle Kuzma? Is it Landry Shamet? Is it Mike Muscala? Is it Danilo Gallinari? Is it Johnny Davis? Or is it Pat Baldwin Jr.?
It's Taj Gibson. No, go ahead.
Yes, in year 28. Their two best players, like two most winning players, are Tyus Jones and DeLon Wright. One of them who is certain to be traded this season for assets from a team who needs a quality backup point guard. I just think this team is going nowhere fast. It's offense only. It's going to be a lot of me trying to get my stats up basketball between Jordan Poole and Kuzma.
Yeah.
The Washington Wizards are going to be a tough team to watch this year, Terry.
Possibly. I mean, I don't know. Offensively, they're going to look okay. So in some of these games, they might just outscore some of these, of the worst teams that are out here. Because, I mean, despite the fact that Poole looks horrible in the playoffs, regular season-wise, it's about 24 a game. Kyle Kuzma looks great regular season. Playoffs, we've seen him actually play pretty well as well. I mean, I don't know, man. Like, it just depends on what their vision is. Like, if they try to trade these guys, because I think it's 55 games until the trade deadline. So that's a lot of games in between for them to win some shit. They might win some games just because Jordan Poole and Kyle Kuzma can score like in the clutch. So we shall see. I mean, it's a possibility, bro. I just don't know which way they're going. So I don't disagree, but I kind of do at the same time. It's kind of hard.
If by winning some games you mean 17 over the course of the whole season, then I agree with you.
17? All right, so their over-under is 23.5, so you're going way under on that one, huh? That's funny.
Yeah, this is going to be a historical tank for the Washington Wizards. Of course, a season after, they could have tanked and got Wembanyama, but instead threw all their chips in to try to make the play-in and didn't make it.
To be honest, I don't know. I think they're going to win more than 24 games, bro. Like, I just think this roster overall, offensively, is too good for them to lose that many games. And, like we saw last year, Pistons went complete tank mode. What'd they get, like the 8th pick in the draft? 6th? They got a horrible pick, so you don't have to take it all the way to the bottom. I mean, you can just play out and lose, and you might get the number 1 pick. So I don't know if they should just completely just say, fuck this whole season, but we'll see how it goes.
You know me, man. I always think defense matters, and their best defender is a 18-year-old rookie from France.
No, that's true. I mean, but look, if we're just doing regular season standings, I'm gonna just say Wizards are not gonna finish last. But That's on you.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I think they're going to be god awful. My second to worst team in the Eastern Conference. You just mentioned them. They won 17 games last year. Their two best players.
Basketball. Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
It's going to be a while for us hearing that, especially since they moved to the suburbs and got a new stadium.
Auburn Hills. Yep.
Their two best players last year were 33 and 31 years old, in Alec Burks and Bogdanovich. I expect one or both of them to be traded this season.
Bogdanovich,
They got
definitely,
a poo-poo platter of young prospects, including James Wiseman, who they traded for Sadiq Bey straight up.
Yep.
Killian Hayes, who's been pretty god-awful for 4 years in a row.
Yep.
Marvin Bagley, who's somehow been worse.
Yeah.
Jaden Ivey, who had an awful rookie season and shot more floaters than anyone in the NBA not named Trae Young. And you ready for this, Terry?
Good.
Made 17% of them.
Wow. Stop shooting them then. Jesus.
They brought in Joe Harris to be a defensive stopper.
The ghost
We'll
of Joe
see.
Harris.
Yeah, we'll see if that works out. Cade Cunningham hasn't proved that he could stay healthy, but everyone is he looks so good for the USA Select team. They're going to win 40 games this year. Nah, they'll be lucky if they win 24. This team sucks.
Yeah, this is probably this might be the worst roster in the league. I mean, like, we know the names, but a lot of flame out guys on this team, bro. Are they going to go full tank mode again? Like full back-to-back, tank it up? I can see it possibly. I don't know who they're going to pick, though, in this upcoming draft. Nobody's, there's no big name yet, but you know how college basketball goes. You know how all the scouting and everything goes. Somebody's going to show up. But, yeah, man, their over-under is 28.5, which is fucking 5 games more than the Wizards, which is insane to me. But
they're going to win 11 more games this year?
No. Bro, what? Do you believe in Cade? If Cade plays 70-something games, what you thinking? 30 wins?
I believe he's good. I don't think he's all-star level.
What about Thompson, the rookie they got? I see her.
He can't shoot. They already have floor spacing problems with Ivy. Cade Cunningham has proven that he can shoot from mid-range, but not necessarily from 3.
Yeah.
And they got just this collection of centers that want to clog up the court, and none of them are good.
Isaiah Stewart.
I do like Jalen Duren, but he's probably going to play 20 minutes a game with all these other bums that they have in their center rotation. So
that's the thing. Yeah, they got too many young guys. I don't know if they're going to figure out like which ones need to play and which ones don't. So I'm out. Detroit, sorry, you're going to suck for a really long time. This is unfortunate.
Good thing they're paying Monty Williams $20 million a year, huh?
Idiotic, bro. Highest paid coach in the league who fucking couldn't figure out, double Giannis. No, play him one-on-one with DeAndre Ayton. Destroy. What is his fucking name? Ayton destroying whatever the fuck his name is.
Dominating.
There you go. Stop it. Detroit's gonna suck. I think Detroit's gonna be worse than Washington, but we can move on.
Well, Pistons fans, I think, already have for this season. They're already looking at the top 100 prospects on ESPN's list at the upcoming draft. Hopefully they don't get screwed like they did last year and have the worst record and get the 6th pick.
Man, that was tough. that was tough, man. But yeah, let's keep it moving.
All right. My third worst team in the Eastern Conference this year.
Number 13.
We're staying at home, close to my heart, right in my zip code. The Charlotte Hornets are going to be the 13th best team in the East this year. They started the year off with drama before the season even started. Kai Jones calling out his teammates on Twitter, demanding a trade, and then being the first player in NBA history to demand a trade and then get cut a week later by his own team.
See you later.
Scoot Henderson's shadow is going to loom over this franchise. Every time Brandon Miller has a bad game, all social media is just going to talk about how well Scoot is playing. He's already a top 75 player in the NBA, according to ESPN.
Yep.
They lost a 20-point-per-game score in Kelly Oubre for absolutely nothing. James Bouknight is a 0 on both ends. Nick Smith is a worse defender than Trae Young. Gordon Hayward can't stay healthy, and if he does, they better trade him before he gets hurt again.
Yeah, for sure. What a waste. That was the worst contract they've had in a long time.
Steve Clifford is a terrible offensive coach. There's a reason he got fired 4 years ago from the Hornets, and then they brought him back after they swung and missed on all the other coaches they wanted to hire. They hired him a month before the season started last year. They had to trade Mason Plumlee away for him to play Mark Williams, who's clearly the second best player on the team.
Yeah.
And is an actual defensive presence. In the half court, I don't think they're going to get any better. LaMelo has struggled running pick and rolls. I mean, he's amazing in transition, but in the half court, it has not all come together for LaMelo Ball. I do like Mark Williams, LaMelo, and PJ Washington, but that's it for the whole roster. I think it's going to be another rough season out here in Charlotte.
You don't like Brandon Miller at all?
No.
Wow, that's a surprise. I honestly, from seeing, of course, summer league he looked good, but preseason he's looked okay in some of the things that I've seen. But I don't think it's gonna be that bad, bro. And honestly, like when everything was clicking, when LaMelo played a decent amount of games, they actually won like 40-something games, even though Jordan fired fucking Borrega for reasons I don't understand.
Borrego is not on the sideline anymore.
Yeah, no.
The best coach they've had in 15 years, and they pushed him out the back door.
It's pretty stupid. But, I mean, I don't know. It's tough. Like, if I'm comparing them to Detroit, if I'm comparing them to Washington, you know, even probably like the Nets, even though people are kind of a little high on them, but that's kind of misleading because of last year's record. They might be at 13, but if LaMelo, you know, if he gives me 70 games, he is an all-star, even though it was a reserve spot. I like their chances. Their starting lineup is straight. It's just the bench. It just falls off from there pretty much. So I don't know, man. Brandon Miller, LaMelo, I like them. Mark Williams, I like him as well. I like Rozier. I think they're going to be okay.
We don't even know if Bridges is going to play. He has to turn himself in again for an outstanding arrest warrant. I don't know how much longer the Hornets will continue propping him up.
I'm sure he'll play, bro.
It's just terrible PR every single day that he steps on a court, especially since he can't get his act together.
I don't think anybody cares. Nobody cares about Charlotte, bro. Like, unfortunately,
not even the Hornets fans. They lost their preseason game last night by 45 points, Terry.
Yeah, I mean, Charlotte's the new Atlanta, bro. Like, nobody cares about it anymore. You know, this is the new we don't give a fuck about team. And but like, deserved. They've sucked for a really long time. This has been a really bad franchise for, 15 years? They made the playoffs, twice? In 20 years? 15? Like, it's sad. Over under 31 and a half.
I think once. I think they only made it once, and that's when that dude with the headband started talking shit to D Wade courtside.
The D Wade team.
Yeah, and then they came back and blew the Hornets
team,
out.
Right? That was the Al Jefferson team, right? So that team made it once, and then Gerald Wallace and like Steven Jackson and that made it.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we were talking about the Hornets.
Oh, you're talking about just the Hornets, not the Bobcats. Named after Bob Johnson, the owner. It's fucking stupid. But yeah, I don't know. Man, they might land there, but I'm gonna say they'll probably win like 38 games. They might surprise people, but I think it's up to LaMelo, man. Let's just see what he does. He's exciting. I'm gonna watch him.
Number one selling jersey this offseason, LaMelo Ball. We'll see if he can live up to the hype.
Popular kid. Keep it moving.
All right, number 12 in the Eastern Conference. They got some promising young players. They had two guys who played a lot this summer in the FIBA World Championship. Of course, I'm talking about the Orlando Magic with Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner. I have so many questions about the Magic this year. What position does Paolo Banchero play? Can Jonathan Isaac play basketball anymore?
Nah, he's done.
Are they going to stay healthy? Last year, they got 80 games of Franz Wagner and 72 of Paolo Banchero. I'm definitely taking the under on that this year. There's no shooting anywhere on the roster, and especially if you aren't counting on Gary Harris to hit 45% of his threes like he did last year. All their guards can't shoot. Cole Anthony shot 35% on extremely low volume from three, and it gets worse from there. Jalen Suggs, he just can't shoot at all. 32%. Anthony Black made 29% of his college threes, and Markelle Fultz has a historically broken jumper. just a team full of young one-way players. Positionally, I'm not sure how they all fit together. It's going to be a packed, crowded paint with not a lot of room to operate. I'm not high on the Magic this year, Terry.
So what happened? I mean, last year they were everybody's darling. Now this year, everybody wants to hop off the bandwagon, huh? Yeah, is that what's going on?
Were they everyone's darling? Were they?
I heard it. National media was like, "Oh, Orlando might be the sneaky team." Fucking sucked. I don't remember exactly where they landed. I'm gonna go ahead and pull the standings up. Should have had it up earlier, but I'm right there with you, man. I'm really right there with you. But development wise, if Banchero and Franz, kind of Franz especially look like he kind of looked in FIBA, then maybe they can be a little bit better. But I think I'm right there with you. Around that range, they'll be around 12, 11, or 10. A ceiling of play-in, but I would definitely bet on them not making the playoffs this year for sure.
Hey, I'm gonna hit the Kevin Love with the Orlando Magic. Don't try to play in. Focus on playing out. Okay. I think also they're gonna have $90 million in cap space this offseason. They need to see which one of these young guys are worth a shit. And so they're going to give them every opportunity to prove themselves and take their lumps. They have no aspirations of contending for anything this year. It's all about developing their young players and seeing which guys can stick around, which guys, are going to be in prominent roles and can be, supplemented by free agents in this $90 million. They're just going to make a ton of mistakes and miss a ton of shots. Just like Paolo Banchero did for 2 months, where he didn't make a single three-pointer.
You should bring that up. Keep bringing it up, because that's fucking insane. Because he was really not great at shooting threes at Duke, but at least I didn't think he'd miss a fucking three for 2 months. Yeah, Magic over-under. Well, go ahead.
What Ben Simmons is to the free throw line, Paolo Banchero is to the three-point line.
So Orlando won 34 games last year. This year, their over-under is 36.5.
Oh, where you at? Way under. Way under.
You think are they going to get less wins than they did last year? 34?
Probably.
Wow. Disappointing season, Orlando. All right, let's keep moving. Orlando at number 12 for you.
Now's where it starts to get interesting, Terry. I've seen a lot of optimism for this team in the national media by everybody except their general manager, who's been on the record publicly calling out this team. The Toronto Raptors are my 11th worst team in the Eastern Conference next year. They boast the worst point guard rotation in the NBA and possibly NBA history, with signing Dennis Schroeder to be their starter and Malachi Flynn to be their backup point guard.
Schroeder?
All the players, yeah.
The disrespect.
What's the disrespect?
I thought he was pretty good for the Lakers last year, honestly. He helped them out a lot. He was pretty good in the first round versus the Grizzlies. Played some good D on Ja. I thought he played decent D on Steph. He gave him some good hustle, numbers.
Yeah, as a role player on a contender. Yeah, it's a different. I've seen Dennis Schroeder as a starter. I got his jersey from Grant Hill. Like, I've watched this movie many times before. All the players on their team want the ball in their hands, including Schroeder, including OG Anunoby, who's talked about wanting a bigger role for 3 seasons now, including Pascal Siakam, including Scotty Barnes.
All of them are on the trading block again. But, we can't trade. OG's off the table, though. But he's on the block. But he's off the table. What the fuck?
We'll only trade him for the reincarnated version of Larry Bird. That's the only way that we'll trade OG Anunoby. He's too valuable. But we will not include him in the offense. You go stand over there in the corner and wait, OG. But we won't trade you for anybody good.
You know what? I'm glad you're here though with the Raptors. I'm glad you're done with this. Last year you thought they were gonna be a 4 seed shit. I'm so glad you're here now. You're here with me, where they should be, at the bottom.
In the words of George Bush, you fooled me once. Shame on you. Yep. You fool me. You can't get fooled again.
Yep.
And they just got too many guys who want to be in the same area of the court and do the same things. Like, it's not complementary. The skill sets do not make each other better. Everyone's getting seduced by, they had a above 500 record after they traded for Pirtle last season. Once they brought a real center in, it stabilized their whole team, and they were playing great basketball. Yeah, when they played a bunch of East teams that were fucking tanking and were not trying to win games.
Yeah.
Their bench is the worst in the NBA. It's Gary Trent Jr. and a bunch of scrubs. Otto
Yeah.
Porter Jr. is cooked. Thaddeus Young is cooked. Grady Dick is going to get hunted from the first minute that he steps on an NBA court. Their own GM called their entire team selfish this offseason and refuses to give Siakam a max extension because he said publicly on the record that he's not a max player. By the way, they got to. I mean, in today's NBA, probably. If Jeremy Grant is getting a max, then Siakam should get one. They got a new coach, Darko Rijakovic, who is from the Serbian league, is super abrasive. Check out the videos of him screaming in his players' faces like they're fucking eighth graders. He's never coached a minute in the NBA before as an assistant or a head coach. Yeah. I think there's no chance he manages NBA egos in an NBA locker room. They had one of the best coaches in the league last year, Nick Nurse, and they still were mid. This team is going to be worse than mid. This is like smoking a black and mild all the way down to the plastic. It's just going to leave a bad taste in your mouth.
Christ. Wow. Damn. And they got the oldest player in the league, but somehow he's not the oldest player. Thaddeus Young.
Yeah. We'll see if he plays.
Still in the NBA. Yeah, you're right. You don't like Boucher? Chris Boucher? Boucher or whatever the fuck.
Boucher.
Yeah. Boucher. Bobby Boucher.
I love centers who are less than 200 pounds, Terry.
No, last time you saw John Henson, you tried to beat him up. But we'll move on from that.
Hold me back!
Yeah. I'm glad you're here with me with Toronto. They suck. You know, they tried to do the whole switcheroo, everyone's 6'8" and above, but then somehow we still have Fred VanVleet, and we're still going to be good. Fuck out of here. Kyle Lowry's gone. VanVleet's gone. You got Schroeder now. Good luck with that. I like Schroeder, but as a starter and with a bunch of guys that can't shoot, and especially with, I'm not going to say Scotty Barnes is the most overrated player anymore. You know, we're done with that. I'll probably pick a new guy. But with these guys, OG, Scotty, Pascal, OG's probably the only one that can really shoot. I think this team's going to struggle, bro. Unless they're, like, awesome defensively. If they're, like, absolutely awesome defensively, which is possible, maybe they could be good. But I'm offensively, half-court-wise, yikes. Watch out.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%. I don't see them trying hard either for this coach. Like, defense is all effort-based. When you have a 65-year-old Serbian man screaming so loud in your face that you have to wipe it from the spit that he's spewing on you, I don't know if that's going to motivate grown men to play basketball harder.
Yeah. I'm out. No Kawhi. I've been out. Motherfuckers like, no, Toronto's going to be great. The switchability. Fuck off. They suck. Haven't been good since Kawhi. They had like one sneaky good season after that. I can't remember what year it was. Was it 2021? Then they win 2021. They won 48 games. They went 48-34. After that, yikes. Big yikes. Overrated bust, Scotty Barnes. Heard it here first. Fuck out of here, bro. Keep moving.
You were saying that shit's last year.
It sucks.
Number 10, but we won't trade him for Kevin Durant, just like OG Anunoby. Off the table. Number 10, Terry. We're going out to the Windy City, a historic franchise.
Okay.
Number 10, Chicago Bulls.
Okay, playing material. We're there. Okay.
They had a good run through the second half of last season. Zach LaVine played some of the best basketball of his career. And the team somehow finished 5th in defense despite playing Vucevic as a center the entire year.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to have Lonzo Ball again, but they're going to pay him $22 million to not play.
Unbelievable heist.
Aside from Lonzo Ball, the Bulls were insanely healthy last season. The big three of Vucevic, LaVine, and DeMar DeRozan only missed 13 games between them. Patrick Williams, who struggled with injuries his whole career, played all 82 games.
Which is insane.
Ayo Dosunmu played 80. Kobe White played 74. Even Alex Caruso played 67 games.
Yep.
They were the healthiest team in the NBA behind the Sacramento Kings, and they won 40 games.
40 and 42. Garbage.
That's the glass ceiling on them. 40 games. We already saw it. They didn't make any notable additions. I think DeRozan and Zach LaVine remain two of the most interesting trade chips in the NBA this season for contenders.
No,
who could be looking to punch up some scoring. I anticipate one of those guys will be moved. There's no way this team is as healthy as it was last year. This is a play-in team at best.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Over under 37.5. That's a tough one. It's going to be around there. I wouldn't even bet that if you fucking put a gun to my head. Big additions. Drummond, Javon Carter, Torrey Craig.
Yikes.
Maybe I'll take the under.
You mean Hall of Famer Andre Drummond? Self-proclaimed Hall of Famer?
Yeah, nah. Chicago. Sorry, man. This might be a tough season to watch. They got to start off decent, because if not, you can go ahead and say goodbye to DeRozan and Levine. I just don't.
At least they had that magical start to the season 2 years ago, where they were the 3 seed, and then came crashing down to reality.
Yep. Shout out to DeRozan.
Speaking of teams that are crashing back down to reality, Terry, the Brooklyn Nets are my 9th best team in the Eastern Conference. It wasn't too long ago that we thought of them as a perennial power when they had Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, and James Harden all playing for the same team. Now they have Royce O'Neal, Ben Simmons. I can't even finish. And Day'Ron Sharpe. Last year, after the Kyrie trade, they finished 13-15 in the final 28 games. All of their team was healthy after the trade, and they played a bunch of tanking teams. They got exposed in the playoffs by the Philadelphia 76ers, who just ran through them like a homecoming team through the fucking paper while the band is playing. They also have a god-awful bench. Royce O'Neal was probably their best bench player, and he hasn't looked like himself for 2 years.
He just left chucking it.
They're going to spend the whole season trying to rehabilitate the Ben Simmons project.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, I got no faith in that succeeding. He looks so good in the Instagram workouts. Did you see him shooting one-legged step backs? Well, this is the same guy that played 30 minutes a game in 15 games last season and did not make a single free throw in 15 games straight.
Yeah, he's on the "if it goes bad for me, my back hurts" alert. That's going to be number one for him.
Cam Thomas's back may also hurt from carrying the scoring load. Unfortunately, that's the only thing he's interested in doing.
Yeah, I was about to say, if he gets to play, he plays no defense.
They spent a first-round pick on Noah Clowney, who's he's Bruno Caboclo 2.0, 2 years away from being 2 years away.
He's a real-life clown.
But
out of here.
Terry, they have one of the best backup point guards in the league in Dennis Smith Jr. Oh wait, he was out of the league for a year and a half. He's 5'9", is a terrible defender.
Was he out of the league? I thought he was playing for Charlotte for a little bit. I thought he was playing in Brooklyn for a while. No,
he was out of the league for a whole year before Charlotte signed him. Yeah,
that's crazy. Oh, okay, so that's what it was. He was out, and then Charlotte got him. Now he's back in. Gotcha.
And that's their bench. Good luck, Brooklyn. I know you guys are motivated to be good. They don't own any of their own picks. But as long as Ben Simmons is on this team and playing regular minutes, I have no faith in them whatsoever. I'm not going to allow myself to get bamboozled by going 13-15 against a bunch of tanking teams. That's still a losing record.
You got no faith in the Nets at all, bro. Or Ben Simmons. Simmons, I think we're done with him, right? Both of us?
Oh, yeah. Been done.
Go ahead and call that? Yeah, stick the fork in him.
Since he didn't make a fucking dunk over Trae Young, that was the moment that I stuck a carving fork in him like it's Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I don't know how to feel about the Brooklyn Nets, bro. Honestly, though, their over-under is 36.5. I sneaky think that they might be one of the worst teams in the league, bro. They might be.
If everything breaks wrong, I could see it.
I mean, because
I tell you what, Mikal Bridges has been one of the healthiest players in the NBA. They're one Mikal Bridges injury away from being a bottom 3 team.
Well, honestly, even if he still plays, right? Even if he still plays, this might be an all-star season for him. You know, hopefully, if everything goes well, he should score like 24 a game and be a solid defender and do all that. But everybody else around them is just not good, man. They're not. And like we said last year, that stretch when KD and Kyrie were just killing, and I think they went like 20 7 or something stupid like that. They were like had the best record in one of the best records during that stretch. It just makes their record look way better last year. Like you said, they went 13-15 the rest of the stretch, and they played a bunch of bad teams. I think they're bad. Like some of those games were close. I think they're a bad team. I think this team's gonna suck. I really do. Ben Simmons has no
Nick.
heart.
Yeah, he has no heart. I like Nick Claxton, but I don't like the players surrounding him. He's a little too light in the butt to play 5 full time with no other bangers around him. Their shooting is not that great. They lost Yuta Watanabe, who guarded the other team's best player and hit 40% of his threes last year.
Good energy guy.
Yeah, this team is going to suck.
I think they're going to suck, but this is one of the teams, and there's not a lot of them in the NBA where it's like, I can see them going, like 20 and, 60 or whatever. And I can also see it go the other way because defensively they might connect and be really good. And they could win like 40-something games. So I really don't know. I'm going more towards the suck side, though.
Yeah, if they play a 5-man rotation, maybe.
Well, like, if Ben Simmons, you got on defense, Ben Simmons, Mikal Bridges, Nick Claxton, just those 3 alone, that's kind of scary, bro. Like, they're really good fucking defenders. So I don't know. I'm still saying they're going to suck, but there is a fucking alternative universe where they can be okay. They might win like 38 to 40 games. Possible.
Yeah,
I don't see them making the playoffs.
I'm just not betting on a Ben Simmons renaissance. I don't know if you know anything about back injuries, but as a guy who broke my back, it tends to impact your lateral movement and your explosion.
Yeah. He should have just played. Shouldn't have been sitting. That's how you hurt your back. Just sitting all fucking day. You got to stand up, my guy. Got to stand up. You got them 9th? Play in?
9th, play in. Yeah.
36.5 over or under. What you got?
Probably take the under and they'll still make the play in. I think the East is going to suck this year.
Ooh, man. Yeah. If they get 36 wins on the dot and make the playoffs, that's fucking sad. Come on, East. You can't do that to me. That'd be horrible. But keep it moving. That's your number 9 team. Number 8 now.
Number 8, the Indiana Pacers. Tyrese Halliburton, with him on the court last year, they were 5 games above 500.
Top 20 player in the league.
Added some good players in Obi Toppin and Jarris Walker. They got a good backup big in Daniel Tice. Miles Turner has been a really good rim defender. Yep. They got hurt. Their power forward position last year was the worst in the NBA. It was just an abomination. They definitely shored that up with the rookie and with Obi Toppin. I think if Halliburton stays healthy, him along with what's his name? No. The other 2 guard, the Haitian motherfucker, Benedict Mathurin. Yeah, Mathurin. I think he takes a step forward. He gets the light. He shot like 9 free throws a game as a rookie, which is crazy. That. Yeah, he can shoot from the outside. He puts a ton of pressure on the rim. They're going to get something good back from Buddy Hield from a contender. Everyone's looking for a shooter.
You think they're trading Buddy? Why would they trade Buddy? Keep the shooter.
Because they tried to the whole offseason, and he's disgruntled, and they want to start Halliburton or Mathurin.
Lakers, wake up.
I think also they're really well coached. They got Rick Carlisle, who everybody sleeps on, but he just is really competent and gets guys to play within a scheme.
Yeah, I got to give my respects because I thought they were going to be the worst team last year in the whole league, and they were decent. So I got to give my respects. I take it back, Jim Carrey. I take it back. My bad.
The whole season hinges on Halliburton's health. If he plays 65-plus games, they're going to be in the play-in race. If he plays 45 like he did last year, they're going to be down there looking up at the play-in with Chicago.
Yeah, if he plays the 65 cutoff, I can actually see them being better than around the 8 seed, bro. He's a good player, man. Yeah, I mean, the NBA rankings had him going top 20. He was like 21, maybe, something like that.
Top 20. I think he was 19 is where they put him.
It's pretty fucking high, but I mean, after watching FIBA, after kind of going back on some of the games, having a good coach connection with Carlisle, if he plays 65, if he, plays that All-NBA cutoff, they might be pretty good, man. I can see them being decent. Could be a complete turnaround. Maybe 40-something wins. Maybe 44. Something sneaky.
Okay, I could live with that.
Something sneaky, yeah.
You ready to move on? Any more Pacers thoughts, Terry?
Nah, fuck Indiana. Let's keep it moving.
All right, perfect. Shouts to you, Jeff Teague. Nobody gives a fuck. Now it starts to get interesting, Terry. The top 7 in the East is where I think I have a lot of teams kind of grouped together.
I'm
Number
ready to hear the
7
name. Say it.
is the Philadelphia 76ers.
Oh, he went bottom. Okay.
They went from first in the East last year all the way down to 7th next year is what I'm predicting. I can't name a team in the NBA that had a worse offseason than the Philadelphia 76ers. Whether it's James Harden, going to China and saying he's not going to play for Daryl Morey, or him going to the club and having bottle service, placards that say Daryl Morey is the liar.
It wasn't me. I didn't say that. I didn't say it.
Right. It was the bottle girls. I had nothing to do with it. Or if it was him this week not playing in their preseason game to attend a party in Houston.
Yep.
I just think that his shadow is going to loom like a specter over this organization the entire season. There's no way that they get a player of his caliber to replace him in a trade. That ship has sailed.
Yeah.
They're going to be worse. Last year, Joel Embiid played 68 games in his quest to win the MVP and ran out of gas in the playoffs once again. I will definitely take the under on that this year. I'll take the under on 60 games for Embiid.
So no All NBA for Embiid?
Oh.
Yeah.
Maybe he'd be motivated to get to 65. Maybe you're right. But with his history of injuries and the amount of load that he's going to have to shoulder offensively and defensively, I think that would be pretty optimistic to see him return to play that many games. They got a brand new coach in Nick Nurse, an undefined offensive system that doesn't have their primary creator. Last year, he's a good coach. Last year, Tyrese Maxey had the most variable changing role in the NBA from night to night. Mm-hmm. When Harden was on the floor, Maxey ran 15 pick and rolls per 100 possessions. When Harden was on the bench, he ran 62 pick and rolls per 100 possessions. That's like asking you to play 2 completely different positions, have 2 completely different roles. There's no way to get continuity doing that. If that continues this year, I don't think that's going to be good for his development or the team as a whole. Their biggest acquisition is Kelly Oubre Jr., who has not been a winning player on any of the teams he's ever played for. We saw him trying to integrate into the Warriors system in a team that actually wanted to win and how well that went. He's much more content just putting up 19 to 20 points a game playing for Washington or Charlotte where nobody watches and he could take a bunch of shots down 20 in the third quarter. PJ Tucker is a year older and was completely ignored by Boston in the playoffs and nobody guarded him. Danwell House never delivered on his promise despite them tampering and losing picks to get him.
Yeah,
we've been waiting for Furkan Korkmaz to break out for 7 years now.
He sucks. It's over. It's over. It's done. It's done. His name is too goofy for him to be good.
I like Paul Reed, but he plays in the NBA like he's in the And One mixtape tour and has these wild swings of highs and lows each game that I'm sure is going to get on Nick Nurse's nerves. I'm not sure how much patience he has for that. They lost Georges Niang, who led their team in three-pointers made last year. They lost Shake Milton, who was a reliable bench guy.
That's a huge loss for me. But
they lost Jalen McDaniels, who's a switchy 3-4 guy who fit with Embiid. They have no pathway to improve their roster as none of their first-round picks are trade eligible until the end of the season.
Yeah.
This Sixers team went backwards big time, and I don't see their path to getting back to that number 1 spot. I think it's going to be a precipitous drop. And now that Joel had the MVP, I think he has his eyes on the postseason. As long as they can make it into the postseason and he's healthy, I think that's what he's concerned about. He doesn't give a fuck about winning back-to-back MVPs. Yeah, it's going to be a rough regular season out there in the city of brotherly love.
We shall see. I mean, I think of course, big question is James Harden. We really don't know what the fuck's going to go down. We have no idea. But large additions that don't make sense to me. Kelly Oubre, Patrick Beverly, Mo Bamba, and Danny Green. None of those.
Danny Green is still in the NBA?
Yep, Danny Green went to Philly. He's a vet, whatever, but that none of those really make sense to me. Also, I mean, like they were a good team last year. After starting off, I think they were like 9-9 or something like that. The rest of the way they went 45-19, which is I think that was the best record in the whole league. Even though you kept saying they came in first, but they actually came in third because remember Milwaukee and Boston slow walked them
Oh
at the
shit,
end.
that's right. They were first all
Yeah,
year and then blew it.
yeah, because Philly ended up with 54 wins, and yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, their situation is weird. We're really not sure if James Harden plays. They're going to be another, really good team. But for them, it's all about the playoffs, bro. Unfortunately, this is just a regular season look. But playoffs is all they care about. And selfishly, fuck it, Philly, tank it up. We need Embiid for Team USA. I don't care about you. Be bad. James Harden, play and suck. I don't care. Like Embiid,
The
Team
only thing
USA.
I want from Joel Embiid is for him to overcome his sickle cell anemia and play in Denver this year. That's the only thing I want from Joel Embiid. Can you play against Jokic?
Yeah, I want that and to be fully 100% healthy in the playoffs. Because for him to go from like a top 3 player in the regular season to like a top 12 to 15 player in the playoffs is inexcusable for somebody that is as good as him. So I just need him to be number 1 in the playoffs so everybody can see. Like, of course, a multitude of fucking NBA fans know he's really good, but there's still people out there that think he sucks because he hasn't done anything in the playoffs. He's not gotten past the second round with 3 different coaches. Or is it 3 or 2? I think it's just 2, but it could be 3 with this guy, Nick Nurse.
No, because they had Brett Brown. They had Doc Rivers. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I already counted this year with Nick Nurse.
I was doing the same thing. So, yeah, just be healthy, man. I don't know if they're going to come in 7th. But
you think that's too low?
We just don't know with the James Harden situation, man. It's hard to say, bro. I mean, but you're right. If Embiid plays 68 games again, they're not going to come in 7th. Harden or not, like Maxey, Embiid is just too good for them to not win like 48 to 50 games. Like, am I wrong? He did it with Ben Simmons. He did it with James Harden.
I think this is a 45-win team with Embiid missing a handful of games here and there, with James Harden not being replaced by another player his quality.
Yeah.
People forget Embiid won the MVP on the back of James Harden giving him more assists than any player in the entire NBA. Like,
no, for sure.
That combination was number 1 in assists.
It was deadly.
to finishes. That's not going to be there. That's gone. So, Embiid, you're back to initiating the offense from the mid-post. I don't think that's going to translate to efficient basketball. Last year, we saw Embiid's shooting percentage jump up to like 55%.
Yeah.
All the previous years, he's a center shooting like 46% from the floor. I think we see shots. I think we see a return to that type of offense from Philly.
So they're Sixers over and under is 48.5. I know you're going to go under on that, so I don't really have to ask that. If Harden does play, though, where are they going to be at? Same as last year, around 3?
No?
Even if Harden plays?
I don't think he's going to play nearly as well as last year.
That's why I'm asking you the question. So you think, okay. All right, we'll see. I don't know.
I think James Harden will do his usual deal where he plays like really good for 10 games to let everyone know, hey, I still have it. And then he puts on his fat suit and walks around for the next 30.
I don't know, man. I think he'll be fine. He'll do his same fucking shit. I don't think anybody can stop what he does. Nobody can stop what he does. He'll just do 20 and 10. And last year was like a down season for him. He was like, 22 and 10?
Yeah, led the NBA in assists.
Yeah, so I don't know. If he doesn't play, yeah, they might be 7. They might be 6, but that's tough, bro. I don't know, man. Atlanta, Miami. I think healthy Embiid, even without James, is better than those teams. But we can keep moving. You got them at 7. We're at number 6 now.
Sorry, bench. Number 6. I got your New York Knicks, Terry.
Knicks at 6. Right.
You guys got the best bench in the NBA. The problem is a lot of these bench players are better than your starters. Josh Hart, great bench player. Emmanuel Quickley should have won 6th Man of the Year. Isaiah Hartenstein, one of the best backup centers in the league. The problem is it starts with RJ Barrett, who went from shooting 40% to 33% from 3. with his lack of shooting, they keep bumping him down a position. He played power forward for like 30% of his minutes last year. If he continues to not be able to shoot, he may be looking at coming off the bench as a power forward, replacing Randall, especially with Obi Toppin gone. You know, they added.
He's a part of the reason why Obi Toppin is gone. Not because, of course, Thibodeau and Toppin didn't get along, but it's like they couldn't play on the court together because RJ Barrett had to play fucking 4, and he's not a 4. He doesn't rebound.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I like Grimes. He's, they got a lot of good perimeter defenders, and I trust your point guard. Why can't I remember his name?
Jalen Brunson.
Jalen Brunson.
All NBA Jalen Brunson.
They're returning 8 of their 9 best players, and after Thibodeau shrunk his rotation and stopped playing Cam Reddish, the Knicks went 37-22 last year. When he just was like, team. He's like, I got 9 guys, and I'm only playing these 9 guys. 8 of those 9 guys are back, with the exception of Obi Toppin, and they added DiVincenzo, who, like I mentioned again, is likely to push RJ Barrett down a position because they have a whole bunch of guards.
Yeah.
Everyone on this team is like in the prime of their career. They don't have any guys that are like super young and green who are going to like have to take their lumps and make a lot of mistakes to get better.
Yeah.
No one's really over 30. I just think they're like good, but they don't have the ceiling to be great. And they got a bunch of quality two-way guys, but no real star power to take them to the next level besides a Jalen Brunson. I think they're going to be a good team, a tough team, a team who knows like their identity night in, night out, and that's going to help them escape the play-in tournament. But I don't see this being more than a second-round team again.
No, they're definitely a second-round team. Now, as far as the regular season is concerned, 6 is too low, brother. That's the basement. I'm not going to say I'm super-duper high on the team, but I do like this squad. And like you said, we're returning a lot of the rotation that we had for a decent-looking team towards the end of the season when Josh Hart came from the trade. And before that as well, some of that. Team's too good, bro. Randall's good in the regular season. And you're right, it kind of does start with RJ. We kind of want to see what the fuck he's going to be. What's it going to be, like year 4, year 5?
I think year 5. Yeah.
We need something. We need something out of him. But Brunson plays a lot of games. Randall plays a lot of games regular season-wise. Josh Hart does as well. That's, your identity. Tough, rebounding team. If Mitchell doesn't, play games because he's hurt a lot, we got Hartenstein, who I didn't really know and like last year, but he actually did a good job, so we get him again. I think this team is going to be way better than people think. Knicks hype isn't going to be crazy because there's no like great players that like come through in the playoffs. So we're going to sneak under the radar, and I think we're going to be a lot better than people think. Over-under for the Knicks is 46.5, my guy.
Under.
I think I'd say over.
I think, it's a great line, but I think they probably win 46 games on the nose.
Yeah. It'll be sneaky, man. They have a good, like, the guys play a lot of games. I know Thibodeau runs people into the ground, but these guys are ready to be run into the ground. I don't think they can be ran into the ground.
Where would you rank the New York Knicks if you had to place them?
I'd probably put them 4th. Yeah. Last year they were 5th. 4 games behind the Cavs, who are a great regular season team. They won 51 games. Last year we won 47 games. So, I mean, most of the momentum.
So I'm ridiculous for saying you'll win 46.
No, I mean, that was the over-under. But if you're predicting them to come in 6th place, and 6th place last year was the Nets with 45, which isn't crazy. I don't know. I mean, 6 wins is a big difference, bro. I think they're winning 50. I'm going 50.
New York Knicks, a 50-win team. Gotta love that home cooking here on the Habitual Line Steppers podcast.
I'm always very, like, transparent about my squads. I'm never saying they're great. I'm never saying they're fucking horrible, but I'm not about to overhype them. I think they're going to be good. They showed us they were a decent team with these guys that are coming back to play. I think they'll be good.
Sprinkle that seasoning on it, Terry. Put a little bit of that Lowry's. I love your home cooking. Speaking of home cooking, Terry, my number 5 team in the Eastern Conference is my Atlanta Hawks.
Atlanta.
They went 41-41 last year in DeJounte Murray and Trae Young's first year sharing the backcourt, running a archaic, prehistoric offense from Nate McMillan, in which we led the NBA
Players
in
Association.
mid-range
Got it.
jumpers. Yeah, yep. The National Ping Pong Association. Shout out to Carlos.
Yeah, right.
First in the NBA in mid-range jumpers on a team of guys who shouldn't really be shooting that many mid-range jumpers.
Yeah.
John Collins was a season-long abomination, and we traded him for, I don't even know, a Monopoly piece. Like,
Mr. Nutfinger himself. He was a good player, but unfortunately, he just didn't work for y'all.
yeah. Nate McMillan and Lloyd Pierce are two of the worst coaches in the last 10 years, and we've had to survive that as Hawks fans. And now they have a top 10 coach, and Quinn Snyder chose to come to this team. He's going to install his own offense. They're always top three. Every team he's coached has been top three in three-point makes and in three-point percentage. I don't see that changing this year with the snipers that we have on the floor. All those long twos are going to get turned into threes. So I think we're going to be back to a top 5 scoring offense. I think Trae Young is going to be really motivated this offseason.
Yeah,
I can't think of anyone who's been more disrespected this offseason. He was being rated, selected by his peers as the most overrated player in the NBA.
Yep.
Not being invited to the Team USA select team.
Mm-hmm.
Not the team. Not the team. We talk about the practice team.
Yeah.
Not the game day team, the practice team.
Yep.
And
5-year pro averaging 25 a game. But nah, you're not good enough for this.
Right. First in assists since he came in the league wide, by the way. And he got ranked in the 30s in the ESPN Top 100.
Yep.
They got a top 7 center rotation in the NBA with Clint Capella and Okongwu.
You might be the best, to be honest.
Well, I think any team with Nikola Jokic, you could put Jokic and me out there, and they'd be the best center rotation in the NBA. But in terms of depth, I definitely think it's an underrated center rotation, and they're going to get good minutes from that position. They can match up against like faster guys with Okongwu. He can switch out on the perimeter. We got Capella to bang people on the boards and dominate it like we did against Miami in the play-in game. Mm-hmm. Jalen Johnson and Saddiq Bey are both better than John Collins. Saddiq Bey, people forget this guy had a 50-point game in Detroit. He played for 4 coaches already. He's never had a season with the same coach the entire season.
That makes a huge difference in someone's career. Trust us, for sure.
Yeah. So I think he's going to have a big year. I think Bogey is a really good offensive fit next to Trae Young and DeJounte Murray. Like, he can play alongside either one of them. Our guard production, I think, is going to be near the top of the league in terms of scoring.
Of course. Spreads the court.
I do think, Bogey, on that point, he had a great Olympics, took Serbia all the way to the FIBA World Championships as their best player. Or not the Olympics, but you know what I'm talking about.
FIBA, yeah.
Yeah, all these European guys, when I always feel good about them when they like come in as being the number one guy for their like national team the whole summer. Like, I feel like that confidence and form just carries over a little bit.
You got Patty Mills too. Interesting.
Yeah, 100%. Trae always plays good with a veteran point guard like on the bench to kind of rein him in a bit, let him know like when to pull and when to push. I think Patty Mills would be good for that.
Nice, perfect.
My questions for this team, Terry, is defense, man. I think they're going to have a really hard time defending some of the premier wings in the NBA. I don't trust DeAndre Hunter, who, when asked,
you don't trust him anymore?
They asked him what he worked on this offseason, he said, quote, nothing. He worked out with a UVA college basketball team the entire summer. And that was his idea of getting ready for the upcoming season.
Get out of Charlottesville. Jesus.
The defending 3s and 4s is going to be a problem. With Jalen Johnson has never been known for his hip flexibility and ability to stay in front of people. Saddiq Bey has never been challenged to play defense since he's been in the NBA. And DeAndre Hunter has games where he looks like an all-world defender and games where he looks like a goddamn turnstile. And he usually gets hurt every single season. And guess what? He's hurt right now. And I haven't even mentioned defending guards with Trae Young out there. and Bogey as well. So I think we're going to score a ton of points. I think we're going to be a top 3 offense, but it's going to be the Atlanta Hawks story once again. Top 3 offense, bottom 10 defense. I think it'll be enough to get us to the 5 seed, but not much more than that.
Over under 42.5 for Atlanta.
Way over. We went 41-41 with John Collins and Nate McMillan.
Yeah. I think you're a little down on their regular season hopes. I think they're going to be really sneaky good because Quinn Snyder's a fucking fantastic coach. Trae Young's a fantastic player, even though he can't play defense. But he's going to give a lot more effort this year, I think, because just too many overlooks, man. It's just too much. I know he's been underrated his whole career, but it's just too much. Like, not even to be on the fucking Team USA select team is crazy to me. He's only made 2 All-Stars, and honestly, he's had 5 All-Star seasons for me. You could say 4 maybe because 19 and 8 might not be enough, but I feel like you guys got a ceiling of probably being like a top 2 to 3 team, bro. Honestly, if you can if everything gets together, I believe in you guys.
I believe in you guys. You get no arguments from me. I didn't want to be like too homeristic right now.
No, of course.
I didn't want to spring too much of the Lowrys on my own food, but I could 100% see if everything went right, them being a top 3 seed. I'm just not confident everything's going to go right, and that begins and ends with DeAndre Hunter.
No, I feel that, but I would say for the first time us going into an NBA season, both of our teams have hopes of being really fucking good. This is rare. This never fucking happens. A New York Knicks fan and an Atlanta Hawks fan. This never fucking happens. But
I would love for us to match up in the second round of the playoffs.
You like Trae Young or Donovan Mitchell? Quinn Snyder coaching.
Trae Young.
All right, we'll see. If he's just as good as that, I think you're going to be good. And mind you, they were a 1 seed, I think, 1 season. I don't know if it was 2, but they were always like a top 4 seed when Quinn Snyder was there with Rudy and Donovan. So,
oh yeah, they were 1 seed. What, 2 years in a row?
I don't know if it was back to back. I know for sure it was definitely 1. I don't know if it was the shorter season or not, but I know they were a 1 seed for one of the seasons, and I think you got a team similar to Utah from years ago. So let's see if Trae Young can do what Donovan did. You guys got a really big chance of being a 2 or 3. And I know Boston and Milwaukee are really good, but they're still Boston. They got their things to work out still, and so does Milwaukee. So, but we'll see. We'll see.
Coaching goes a long way, man. Coaching goes a long way. The biggest offseason addition was subtracting Nate McMillan and adding Quinn Snyder. I can't overstate that enough.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, number 4, Terry. Speaking of great coaching, I'm going with the Miami Heat. They got the best coach in the NBA. Tyler Hero is back. They got the same formula that they've had success with in the past, surrounding Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo with a bunch of shooters. They can't possibly shoot worse than they did last season when Gabe Vincent shot under 30% from 3 and Max Strus shot 34% on 9 attempts per game.
Yeah.
Hero, Lowry, Duncan Robinson, Kevin Love, Caleb Martin, they can all shoot. Josh Richardson always plays well when he's in Miami. I don't know what Eric Spoelstra understands about him that nobody else in the league could figure out, but he's back for a second stint.
Yep.
I like their young players. I think Nikola Jovic, is going to help space the floor out. He's a good passer and connector on offense. They got Haywood Highsmith, who's another big, 6'7", 6'8" guy to throw at other players.
Yeah, sure.
And Jaime Jaquez.
Jaquez. You big on Jaquez, huh?
Yeah, I like him, man. He was all the Jimmy Butler comps. They say he just makes the right play consistently, just like a winner.
Yeah. I like the Thomas Bryant acquisition as well, though.
Yeah, helps space the floor, too. He might be a good reclamation project for the Heat as well. And also, like I mentioned before, they're the best coached team in the league, and that's got to count for something.
And then also for me, like, the reason why they lost versus Denver, and also one of the reasons why they lost to Atlanta, Bam Adebayo was getting fucking bullied. Kevin Love is, 35 years old, and he's white and big as fuck. His athleticism is gone. Your boys in Atlanta were bullying Bam, getting hella rebounds, and that's the main reason. And I know it's one game, but I think they're Thomas Bryant's going to help with that a little bit. In situations when it's looking crazy, they can get the big boys off, put Bam in a situation where he needs to fucking thrive. Keep moving.
Yeah.
Keep going.
I ain't mad at that either at all. I think it's a really good point because that still maintains the spacing that they need. But now you can play Bam at the power forward and have another 7-footer next to him. That'll definitely help on the boards.
Bullied around, for sure.
Yeah,
I
think
Bam,
that's a good call.
6'9". Yeah,
Bam's
6'9". So
you got any comments on the Heated 4? You think that's too high, too low, or just right?
Nah, I think they're probably gonna do at least 5 and up this year because a lot of disrespect. They didn't get who they wanted free agency wise, but they still got the piece dangling. If anybody wants it, they still got the dangling piece just in case they might get somebody this year. But I think this team is ready to come in with a different mentality. Your boy Jimmy Butler, always fucking not overrated, but I would say undervalued or not looked at enough as like one of the best players in the league. Again, ESPN didn't put him in the top 10, which is fucking insane. Yeah, I think they're gonna be good. Their over under is 44.5.
Take the over. Take the over.
They still do have to stay healthy again, though. That was their biggest thing last year as to why they were a 7 seed. And I've always said the same shit. Even though they had that big playoff run, the shit that they do in Miami sometimes just runs their fucking players into the ground. And I'm not saying that it didn't. Tyler Hero was banged up and hurt. Jimmy Butler kind of fought through it. Bam fought through it. But that might have been the healthiest they'd been, since like playoff time, since the finals run last time when they went to the finals, lost to the Lakers. So I don't know. I mean, their system is working for them. Hopefully, I want to see them play and do well. I like Miami, bro. I really do. I think they'll do well. I think you're right in your assumption. They're probably going to win like close to 50 this year, I would say.
Yeah,
because the East is back.
48 games, something like that.
Yeah, the East is back, bro. The East is back. The top 5 are fucking heavy hitters, for sure.
There we go. I agree with you on that for sure. All right, number 3 coming in on my list. A team with a lot of fanfare this offseason.
Yep.
They got the most devastating pick and roll combination in the league. They just brought in Damian Lillard. I'm going with the Milwaukee Bucks at the 3 spot.
Fucking surprise. I can't believe you're doing this with that other team's coach.
Yep.
I absolutely... Go ahead. Sorry.
No, you good. What's your first take before I get defend my position?
I completely and wholeheartedly disagree because the Cavs coach is Bernie Bickerstaff. He's one of the fucking worst. JB, whatever. I called him Bernie. I think that might be his name. I don't even fucking know. That might be the B in JB. But JB is not a great coach. And I understand it's the regular season. It's different. They do win a lot of games regular season wise, but damn, Milwaukee at 3 is crazy. With you might be right. I don't know. I'll let you do your thing. I just disagree. I'm gonna
don't disagree about Bickerstaff one bit, but that really comes into play in the playoffs more than it does in the regular season.
No, that's true. And they lost to the Knicks.
We have no idea how good of a coach Adrian Griffin is going to be. If we're expecting him to be as good as Mike Budenholzer, I would tell you to lower your expectations.
Just don't be a bottom 10 coach.
The architect of just don't be a bottom.
Yeah, just don't be a bottom 10 coach, and you're probably going to win 50 games. It's Giannis and Dame. You should be fine.
I mean, they can definitely lean on that, and I think that's going to be the foundation for everything they do. Terry, I don't know if you saw this week, though, the architect of their offense, a former NBA head coach who's had success, who they brought in to be Adrian Griffin's lead assistant, Terry Stotts quit the team yesterday.
Interesting.
Are you aware of that?
Nah, I didn't see that. That's crazy.
Yeah, apparently him and Adrian Griffin got into a screaming match on the court on Tuesday. And after 2 days of mulling it over, Terry Stotts said, fuck this, I don't need this. And he just quit the team.
Wow.
5 days before their season started.
That's
One
crazy,
day after Damian Lillard was like, man, it's so great to have Terry here.
Yep.
I feel like I'm another coach on the court because I already understand the offense and all the terminology. He's so good with players and personalities and just makes us all feel at home. He went on and on and on talking about what a big bonus it is to have Terry Stotts. And then the next day he quits the team.
That's
and
crazy,
so now
man.
Adrian Griffin has no long tenured NBA assistants on the bench. He's going to be out there all by himself, figuring it out on the fly like Joe Mazzulla.
Yeah, I was about to say, we saw this story last year.
Yep. I think that's a terrible sign to be honest. Now they don't have like their offensive savant out there to help them get easy buckets. And then I'm really concerned about the wing depth and the bench, Terry. Pat Connaughton is going to move up back to the starting lineup. We've seen
No
this
way.
before. He's
No
all right,
way.
but he's not real. He
There's
can't
no
really
way he
shoot.
starts.
Who else are they going to start, Terry? Malik Beasley, who was unplayable for the Lakers last year and wasn't
Just
that good
go
for
big.
the Timberwolves before it. Are
Go
they going to
big.
play Jay Crowder, who looked miserable all last season and sat out the first half of the season?
Do
Are they going
the
to play?
right thing and do Dame, Chris, Giannis, Bobby Portis, Brook. Spread the court. Let Giannis cook. Pick and roll. Dame and Giannis. Pick and
Well,
roll.
that-
Dame and Brook.
That's going to be the foundation, the Damon
Yeah.
and Giannis pick and roll. And I think them just leaning on that is going to help them win, close to 50 games, if not 50.
Just don't
But-
start Connaughton. God.
That bench, we're looking at Connaughton then. If Bobby Portis starts, we're looking
Staggering,
at
baby.
34-year-old Jay Crowder, who didn't play basketball for a whole year. We're
Mhm.
looking at Marshawn Beauchamp. We're looking at AJ Green, Andre Jackson, Chris Livingston,
Mm-hmm.
and then the Boo Boo brothers, Thanasis and Antetokounmpo and Robin Lopez.
Oh God. No, you're
This,
right.
this
Hey,
bench is terrible.
stagger it up, baby. Stagger it up. But that has to be the starting lineup. You disagree? Like, there's no way you can't not start that fucking lineup. That'll be like a plus fucking 600. Like, come on, you have to
I
start
don't.
that.
When's the last time Giannis played the three?
But what you Connaughton can't shoot, and he just loves shooting it. Him and fucking Grayson Allen, every time they got it open, they were like, smack it. I mean, I know that was probably the fucking, recipe for them, but he can't shoot.
Yeah.
What is his actual 3-point percentage for fucking Pat Connaughton?
I think it's
I gotta look it
32%. I'd guess 32%
that's
for his
horrible.
career.
I
Yeah.
swear to God, and I don't usually say this because I don't play basketball, but if I got the open fucking threes that he got, I'm shooting at least 36, 37%, bro. Straight up. Like, he's open as fuck almost every time he shoots a three. Let me see. Last year, he shot 33%. It was almost 34%. But still, I mean, come on. He was open as fuck every shot. He should be shooting 40% from three.
Is the Josh Smith open for a reason?
Pretty much. How many attempts, though? Let me take a look. 5 attempts?
That's
Yeah,
a
it looks
lot
like-
of attempts for a bench player, dude.
Yeah, man. I mean, come on, bro. 7 points a game.
That's what I'm saying, man. Their wings are bad. Their bench
He
is
can't
terrible.
start. He can't start.
I have no confidence in their coach. Like, I know
Don't
that
do
there's a
this to
lot
me.
of optimism with Dame and with Giannis, and they can run pick and roll 60 times a game and lean on that. I think Giannis is going to win Defensive Player of the Year and is going to be completely unleashed on that end of the court.
Yeah.
He's not going to be held back by Mike Budenholzer saying you're not allowed to guard the other team's best player anymore.
God, finally unleashed the real Giannis, not this bullshit Giannis we've been seeing for the last 20 years or whatever.
But the
years
problem
he's
is
been playing.
Giannis plays like 31 minutes a game in the regular season. And that means
It's only
you
because
guys
they
are
win. They blow out a lot of teams. We're blowing that out of proportion. They blow
Yeah.
out a lot of teams. And he
I don't
doesn't play a
know.
lot of
They've
minutes
also
because of that.
talked about like how he doesn't pace himself in games. Like he just pushes pedal to the metal every time he's out there for all his minutes. And so they have to kind of like pull him back and give him time to rest. He's not like LeBron, who knows how to like hide and recuperate his stamina and take possessions off, but not like be injurious to your team while doing so.
You can't do the Russell Westbrook. Just keep playing. Fuck it. Play.
Yeah, man. Like, obviously, they got the best 1-2 punch maybe in the NBA with Dame and with Giannis, but everything else is a question mark. Brooke Lopez is a year older. Their whole system last year was Brooke Lopez, you don't have to move. All right, just stand in front of the rim, put your hands up, go vertical, block shots. You never have to step out of the paint. All that's going to change this year, especially with Dame Lillard being swapped out for Drew Holiday. You're going to get a lot more dribble penetration. You're going to have to move your feet and make rotations and not just sit in front of the rim.
I'll make one more rebuttal before you keep going.
Yeah.
The whole 31 minutes Giannis thing. Also, you got to think ball's out of his hand, so he doesn't always have to sprint that shit up the court. You know, Dame is going to have that shit pretty much. I'd say, what do you think? 90% of the time he's bringing it up. Him and Chris. Giannis, you're good. Just run, get to the
I
rim.
tell you what, this may
Dunk
be
it.
too this may be too high for the Bucks if Chris Middleton can't stay healthy.
That is true, though. That is true. Rookie coach, no Chris Middleton. It could be you could be right. I mean, you're making a compelling argument, but it's hard to see. I can't think everyone's going to be hurt, you know?
Yeah,
You go in.
they better not be unless you plan on watching Marchand Beauchamp for 60 games this year.
I also don't think he's healthy right now, though. So, you can go ahead and make that case. Chris Middleton, I think, is hurt as we speak. If I'm not mistaken. Let me see. Yeah, he's still hurt. He's hurt right now.
Yeah, man. I know there's so much optimism, but there's just too many questions on this team for me to put them in the regular season above some of these other squads. I got him third.
I got you. Apparently he's going to play in the preseason finale, though, so we'll see how it goes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Number 2 then, Terry. You know who this team is. You talked about their coach, one of the worst coaches in the NBA. That didn't stop them from winning 51 games last year in the regular season.
Amazing.
They had a plus 5.4 scoring margin for the whole regular season.
Yeah,
that ranks second behind only Boston. Yeah, they had the top defensive efficiency in the league. They were 4th in opponent 2-point shooting. They were second only to Memphis in opponent shooting at the rim. They only San Antonio allowed fewer 3-point attempts per possession, and they forced the 4th most turnovers in the league. In the playoffs, Terry, everyone talked about how badly they got exposed. Mm-hmm. They still held the Knicks to 109 points per 100 possessions in the first round, which was the best defense in the entire playoffs. And that's including Jared Allen getting completely mollywopped by Mitchell Robinson and giving up a 66% defensive rebound rate. Yeah, with all of that, they still had the best defensive metrics of any team in the postseason.
I would also like to give the point that the Knicks were the, I think, 3rd worst scoring playoff team of all 16 and the play-in teams. So, take that with a grain of salt. Good stat, though. Great fucking stat.
When you add all those stats up together, though, I think you do see a dominant defense. And they added some good pieces on offense that'll make them more versatile. Max Strus and Georges Niang, they give them some good lineup flexibility. Now you could split up Mobley and Allen when you need to. You can give Mobley a little bit more space to operate.
Operate and do what?
Well, that's the big question, right? Can Mobley take a step forward offensively this season? Everyone talked about him being Chris Bosh 2.0. Chris Bosh was scoring like 24 points a game when he was with Toronto. You know, I do think that Mobley will take another step forward on that end of the court. I'm banking on that in my projection. I think he's 100% going to be better. I think Dean Wade is going to have a little renaissance as a role player. Help them, have some more shooting and ball moving. He can play the 3 or the 4. He's a good team defender. I just think for the regular season only, they got a pretty good recipe of a stifling defense that doesn't give up threes, gets a lot of turnovers, doesn't allow anything at the rim. And now they finally have shooters around. They didn't have a 3 on their team that was worth a shit the entire season. They're playing Karis LeVert at the 3. Or Isaac Okoro, who had
Cedi Osman.
Yeah, nobody took more wide open threes than Isaac Okoro, and he still made like 31% of them. So, regular season only, Terry. I think they're going to be a 50-win team again. I have them as the 2nd best team in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, their over-under is 50.5, so most people are thinking how you're thinking. I'm not going to go the complete opposite. I think they're probably going to win close to 50, but I think one of the reasons why I'd say they will be maybe more near like a 4 seed and probably go more with like 49 wins is just because they're going to do the whole Evan Mobley, we need you to do more on offense type of thing. And I'm not sure if he's ready for that yet. You know what I'm saying? But I think you got to take the lumps and just not do fucking stupid shit and just play your regular game. And then he's not going to regress, but like kind of stays the same. He needs to do more. I think the coaching staff knows that he needs to do more for them to win offensively. So they're going to be working some of those kinks out. And I think that'll give them, -3 to 4 wins during the season.
Well, I
That's
think
just that's
I
just
think
me.
with Georges Niang, who's an elite corner three shooter,
Great
I
shooter.
think he's going to have a lot more room to use his speed against bigger matches, use his length against smaller matchups.
Yeah,
You
we'll
know,
see how the matchups go. You don't
when when
we
you
don't really know.
when you had Isaac Okoro out there with Jared Allen and Evan Mobley, it's like there's no space to operate within the paint
Yeah, yeah.
whatsoever. Like that's
No,
not
they
going to be
made
efficient
their
basketball.
their preseason signings are great. I liked every single person they picked up, like to help for the rotation, except for Tristan Thompson.
And
Because
yet, you
what the
think they're
fuck?
going to be 3 wins worse.
Because they're going to give the ball to Mobley. Like, I need you to score 20. He scored 16 points a game last year. He scored 15 points a game his rookie year, and then he jumped to 16. Like, the Tim Duncan trajectory, that's gone. Now we're looking at Chris Bosh as the trajectory. That's a big fucking change. You know what I'm saying? That's a huge
Yeah.
change. Like, we need more out of this dude. And I
Could he
don't know if he can
be?
give it
Could
to
he?
us.
Could he be a Jaron Jackson Jr. trajectory as a guy who takes on more responsibility and actually handles it well on offense?
I don't know. I haven't seen it. I'm not watching Cleveland Cavaliers preseason basketball, and I don't really take a lot into fucking preseason. I'm gonna just have to see what they're gonna do during the regular season, bro. And of course, every NBA player and person that hoops loves Amani Bates, but everybody needs to calm down with that
No, not this guy. Not this guy. Number one
shit.
hater
Everybody
right
needs to
here.
calm down.
I
But
don't like small forwards that have a negative wingspan by 4 inches and weigh less than 200 pounds. That's not my
no,
cup
that's
of
true.
tea, Terry.
But yeah, I'm not sure what they're gonna do. Probably the biggest disappointment was them losing first round to the Knicks. That was probably the biggest disappointment in the NBA overall last year. But
And yet, both of us picked the Knicks in that playoff matchup
no, I actually
before it
picked the
started.
Cavs.
Oh, you did? I picked the
I thought the
Knicks.
Cavs were gonna win. They were a good fucking team. I didn't expect the Knicks to smack them. Didn't they beat them in 5?
Yeah, you can't play 4-on-5 in the playoffs and just not have a small forward out there. Like
you were
you
all
just
about
can't
the
do
three.
it. Yeah.
But the thing was, it was funny. It was like it wasn't even that. It was just they couldn't get a rebound to save their fucking life. Unless them boys weren't hitting the weight room, that could be another problem. Because I don't see that they picked up Tristan Thompson for that situation.
Situationally,
up,
I mean, situationally, if that's your weakness, I can think of worse guys to sign.
But like the Heat picked up Thomas Bryant, the Cavs picked up Tristan Thompson. Like, come on now, that's a huge fucking change.
So you're saying the Kardashian curse is going to be what holds Cleveland back?
No. Basketball wise, Tristan Thompson, there's no curse. He's a champion. You know, he did his thing. He actually was really good for Cleveland. I like it in terms of like teaching them angles and figuring out ways to get rebounds because Tristan Thompson's actually like 6'9" or 6'8". But as far as him actually being on the court and helping those situations, absolutely not. Ask Jokic how good he was. The fuck out of here. And I know he's the best center in the world, but come on, stop it.
Yeah,
Mitchell Robinson's gonna look at Tristan Thompson like he's a lunch meat.
Well, if he can stay on the court.
He was on the court when they fucking stomped on their ass. That's all I gotta say.
Last thing that I'll say about this team, I voted Evan Mobley as my defensive player of the year last year. I think he takes another step forward on that end of the court. Another one of these guys that hit the weight room and they're talking about, oh, he gained 11 pounds of muscle this offseason, all this other shit. We'll see how it manifests itself, but he already performed at an extremely high level as a second-year player defensively. I see no reason why he shouldn't be even better in his third year.
All-star game considerations or not there yet?
Yes.
Yes? Okay, I was about to say, because if not, they're not doing shit in the playoffs.
Yeah, no, it's they may be one of these teams that flirts with having 3 All-Stars between Garland, Mitchell, and Mobley.
Maybe. Yeah, he was 16 and 9 last year. I need at least 12 rebounds, bro. Grab some boards. You and Jared Allen, grab some fucking rebounds, man.
What's the point of playing 2 7-footers if you can't get boards?
Yeah, like come on, bro. And both of them can't shoot, really. Anyways, keep it moving. We know who your number one is. Make the argument. Call the team's name out. Do it.
It's the Boston Celtics.
Number one team in the Eastern Conference.
They were the number one team last year.
Yep.
They got even better. They got rid of Marcus Smart, who fell off a cliff after winning Defensive Player of the Year. They got rid of Robert Williams, who regressed as a defender and couldn't stay on the court and dealt with injuries and a change of role and thrived in playing in 2 big lineups. And then Joe Mazzulla was like, all right, we're done with that. We're just going to platoon you and Horford. They went all in on Joe Mazzulla ball, going for spacing and a bunch of guys who can stretch the court out, make even more room for Jaylen Brown to not go left. I think they just have a lot of lineup versatility. They can play big lineups with Al Horford and Porzingis together. They can play stretchy ones with Porzingis at the 5 and 4 perimeter players. They can play a switchy group with Horford at the 5 and Holiday and Derek White in the guards and Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. They're just like, they probably have the two of the 5 best perimeter defenders in the whole league in Derek White and Drew Holiday.
Drew Holiday. Yeah, my bad. Yeah.
And a low-key pickup that no one's talking about, O'Shea Brissett. They picked up from the Pelicans, who's a big wide-body guy and a molded Grant Williams, can hit a 3.
Mm-hmm.
I think that he'll take the Grant Williams role, but without all of the cringe-worthy speeches where everyone's rolling their eyes and wants to stab this motherfucker in between his shoulder blades.
Yeah.
Biggest thing, though, Terry, they still have a couple tricks up their sleeve. They can trade 2 of their own future firsts this season, and their 2031 pick will come available next summer. And they have 7 future seconds they can put in deals because of their trade downs on draft night.
Yeah.
Not only that, but they're motivated to make this deal because they want to get ahead of the new CBA and make all of their additions this year before they're banned from aggregating their salaries and all of the penalties that come in next year with being above the second apron.
Yeah.
I think that they continue to add to this team that's already stacked, and they probably make a move or 2 in the regular season. It's the best roster in the NBA, but we've said that for a couple years already, and they haven't achieved in the playoffs. But for the regular season, they've had no questions. They're my number 1 team in the East.
I agree with you, man. I think they're going to be really good, flirting with 60 wins. All of their best players play. Besides the fact that Kristaps is not going to play for the beginning of the season, but Tatum and Brown play, 70 games every year, without hesitation. Yeah, I agree with you. Drew Holiday is a great fucking addition. I can't believe it. I'll always say this. If Milwaukee could do it over, I don't think they would want Boston to end up with fucking Drew Holiday. But that's just me. I agree with you wholeheartedly. Over under is 54.5 for a reason.
I'll take the over.
Yeah. Them and the Bucks have the same over under. I forgot to say the Bucks over under was 54.5 as well. But
I think everyone's just too swept up in this Bucks mania, man. If you put these rosters side by side, there's no comparison, man.
Boston's got a deep team, but they've always had a deep team. And I like, honestly, the fact that they got rid of not the headaches, but like I would say, battle for leadership in the locker room with Marcus Smart and Grant Williams getting the fuck out of there. I think this team's gonna be really good. Gabriel.
Now that Grant Williams isn't trying to give speeches and Marcus Smart isn't going to, take every single big shot for this team, I think you're going to see Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum be forced to step into more of a leadership role, be forced to have to develop that side of their game, which is frankly necessary, if they're going to go where they want to go.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I don't know, man, but I think the first stretch might be tough. That's where I really want to see what they can do, because without Kristaps, I want to see exactly how the team is going to play, because it's going to be Gabriel and Horford kind of stepping into the number 1 big man type shit. Maybe some Sam Hauser and Cornette possibly, but
if Wenyen Gabriel is playing, go ahead and turn up your TV's brightness, all right, and then turn your TV off. Because he sucks.
That was a weird signing. But yeah, I mean, Tatum, Holiday, Kristaps, Jaylen Brown, Derek White, Peyton Pritchard, Al Horford, Hauser.
O'Shea Brissett.
Brissett will play. He's tough. Decent team. Good luck, Boston.
Decent.
You got it.
Just
Kristaps got to stay healthy, though. He's already coming into the season missing, the first month? First 2 months, I believe?
Is it really? How long is he out? Can you look that up?
It said 4 to 6 weeks for his plantar fasciitis.
Plantar fasciitis. Yep.
Yeah, and he's not LeBron. He's not an Iron Man, and he's 7 feet tall, so they totally different body types. I don't know, bro. Let me go ahead and look at the return time. But yeah, I totally agree with you, man. I agree with you wholeheartedly. Boston, number 1, without a doubt.
What's your biggest beef from my whole list?
Biggest beef?
Yeah.
For me, honestly, it's the Wizards, bro. I don't think the Wizards are gonna. I don't think the Wizards are gonna suck as much as we think they are, bro. Honestly, straight up, I really don't think they're gonna suck that much. And Hawks at 5. I know it's your team, so it's very hard to judge your own team, and I know everyone's gonna agree with that, but I think they're gonna be better, bro. Quinn Snyder's an excellent coach, a great coach in this league. Has coached a #1 record for a team in the West, which the West is always a gauntlet. They've always somehow managed to keep all the best players in that fucking conference, but I think Hawks are gonna be better. Wizards are probably gonna be better, but besides that, I mean it's tough. It's 15 teams. You do what you do. You guess them. It is what it is.
Yep.
You did a good job.
Well, thank you, sir. You as well, Terry. Guys, we will be back on Tuesday for Terry to give you his picks for the Western Conference. I will be reacting to all of that. Stay tuned to the Habitual Line Steppers podcast. North Carolina, continue to stand up.
Peace.
Thank you for listening to our podcast this evening. Thank you. You're far too kind.